Captain Lee Min-ho stared at the massive dark shape floating outside his ship's window and felt his breath catch in his throat. The alien vessel was bigger than anything humans had ever built, stretching over 2 kilometers from nose to tail like a sleeping giant made of black metal and strange curves. It had appeared 3 hours ago without warning, just materializing in Earth's orbit as if it had always been there. "Still no response to our signals," reported Communications Officer Kim Do-hyun from his station behind Min-ho. "The ship is completely silent. No power readings, no life signs, nothing." Min-ho nodded slowly and touched the communication device on his collar. "Earth Control. This is Discovery 1. We're maintaining safe distance from the unknown vessel as ordered. Request permission to begin detailed scans." The response came quickly from Admiral Song Hyok's voice, crackling through the speakers. "Permission granted, Captain, but stay alert. We don't know what we're dealing with here." Dr. Park Ji-won moved to stand beside Min-ho at the observation deck. She was Earth's leading expert on alien artifacts, though until today, that had mostly meant studying mysterious objects found on Mars and Europa. "The hull design doesn't match any theoretical alien architecture we've studied," she said quietly. "Look at those flowing lines and the way the metal seems to bend light around it. This is technology far beyond anything we can imagine." Commander Choi Nari joined them, her military uniform crisp despite the long hours they had been on alert. "My tactical systems can't get a proper read on their weapons or defenses. It's like the ship is absorbing our sensor beams instead of reflecting them back." Min-ho watched as Kim Do-hyun worked his instruments, trying to penetrate the alien vessel's secrets. The young engineer was brilliant with technology, able to understand complex systems faster than anyone Min-ho had ever worked with. If anyone could figure out this alien ship, it would be him. "Captain?" Kim Do-hyun called out suddenly, his voice excited. "I'm picking up something strange. There are energy patterns inside the ship, but they're very weak. It's almost like the ship is in some kind of sleep mode rather than being completely dead." "Life signs?" Choi Nari asked sharply, her hand moving instinctively toward her weapon. "No, nothing biological. But there are definitely systems still running at minimal power. And Captain, I'm detecting what looks like docking bays, big enough for our ships." Min-ho felt a chill run down his spine. An alien ship with docking bays that could fit human vessels seemed too convenient to be an accident. "Dr. Park, what's your professional opinion? Could this be some kind of trap?" Park Ji-won studied the readings on her tablet, her brow furrowed in concentration. "It's possible, but I don't think so. Look at the way the ship is positioned. It's not in an attack formation or trying to hide. It's almost like it was deliberately placed here for us to find." "A gift?" Choi Nari said skeptically. "Aliens don't give gifts to species they've never met." "Maybe they have met us," Kim Do-hyun said softly. "Maybe they've been watching us for a long time." The thought made everyone on the bridge fall silent. Earth had always wondered if they were alone in the universe, and now they had proof that they definitely were not. But whether this proof was good news or bad news remained to be seen. "Admiral," Song Hyok's voice came through the communications again. "Discovery 1, we're sending additional ships to support your mission. Dr. Yoon So-young and her quantum physics team are en route, along with a full military escort. Until they arrive, you are to observe only. Do not attempt to board the alien vessel." "Understood, Earth Control," Min-ho replied, though he could see the disappointment on his crew's faces. They all wanted to explore the mysterious ship immediately. Over the next 6 hours, more human ships arrived until there was a small fleet surrounding the alien vessel. Dr. Yoon So-young proved to be a thin, intense woman who spoke in rapid bursts about quantum fields and exotic matter. Her scans revealed that the alien ship was made of materials that shouldn't exist according to human physics. "The hull is composed of some kind of programmable matter," she explained to the assembled captains during a video conference. "It can change its properties based on energy inputs. That's why our sensors are having trouble getting clear readings." "What about weapons?" Admiral Song Hyok asked from Earth. "I'm detecting weapons systems, but they appear to be completely offline." "More than offline, actually. They look like they've been deliberately disabled." This information made Min-ho even more curious about the alien ship's purpose. Why would someone disable their weapons before leaving a ship in Earth's orbit? Finally, after what felt like endless waiting, Admiral Song Hyok gave permission for a boarding party. Min-ho would lead the team, accompanied by Dr. Park Ji-won, Kim Do-hyun, and a squad of Marines commanded by Choi Nari. The approach to the alien ship was nerve-wracking. Their shuttle looked tiny compared to the massive vessel, like an ant crawling toward a sleeping elephant. But as Kim Do-hyun had predicted, they found a docking bay that was perfectly sized for human ships. "The bay is pressurized with an atmosphere we can breathe," Dr. Park Ji-won reported as they landed. "Oxygen, nitrogen, even the temperature is comfortable for humans. This can't be a coincidence." The interior of the alien ship was both beautiful and unsettling. The corridors were wide and tall, with walls that seemed to glow with their own inner light. Strange symbols covered every surface, flowing and changing as if they were alive. "Motion sensors," Kim Do-hyun said, pointing his scanner at the walls. "The ship is reacting to our presence. It knows we're here." They made their way deeper into the vessel, following corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The ship felt empty, but not dead. It was more like walking through a house where the owners had just stepped out for a moment. Finally, they reached what was clearly the command center. The room was enormous, with a raised platform in the center surrounded by control stations that looked like nothing humans had ever seen. But what caught everyone's attention was the holographic figure standing in the middle of the platform. The alien was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. It wore what looked like a military uniform, and when it spoke, the ship somehow translated its words into perfect English. "I am Commander Kethmar of the Valith Empire," the hologram said. "If you are receiving this message, it means your species has achieved basic space travel and discovered our gift." Gift. There was that word again. "We have been observing your world for many cycles," the alien continued. "Your species shows promise, but you are not yet ready to join the galactic community. You lack the technological sophistication and cultural maturity required for membership in civilized space." Minho felt anger flare in his chest, but he forced himself to listen. "Therefore, we leave you this vessel as a consolation. It is old and damaged, stripped of its most advanced systems. Perhaps in a few thousand years, when your species has evolved beyond its current primitive state, you will be worthy of our attention. Until then, consider this ship a reminder of what you might someday achieve." The hologram flickered and disappeared, leaving the human team standing in shocked silence. "Consolation prize," Choi Nari said finally, her voice tight with controlled anger. "They're treating us like children who didn't make the team." But Kim Do-hyun was already moving around the command center, his scanner beeping rapidly. "Captain, you need to see this. The ship's computers are still active, and there are massive databases of information. Technical specifications, star charts, even what looks like instruction manuals." Dr. Park Ji-won joined him, her excitement growing as she read the scanner results. "This isn't just an old ship. This is a treasure trove of alien technology. Even if it's outdated by their standards, it's still centuries ahead of anything we have." Minho looked around the alien command center and felt a slow smile spread across his face. The Valeth thought they were giving humans a worthless consolation prize. They had no idea what human ingenuity could do with even broken alien technology. "Signal the fleet," he told Kim Do-hyun. "Tell them we're claiming this ship for Earth, and get me a secure channel to Admiral Song Hyuk. We need to start the biggest reverse engineering project in human history." As his crew got to work, Minho stared out at the stars through the alien ship's windows and whispered, "Thank you for the gift. We'll show you what humans can really do." 6 months had passed since the discovery of the alien ship, and Captain Lee Minho barely recognized the vessel anymore. What had once been a dark, empty hulk was now buzzing with human activity. Engineers and scientists swarmed through every corridor, while sparks from welding torches lit up the command center like tiny stars. Kim Do-hyun wiped sweat from his forehead as he emerged from the quantum drive chamber, his uniform stained with grease and alien lubricants that glowed faintly. Blue. "Captain, I think we've got it," he said, exhaustion and excitement mixing in his voice. "The drive should be operational within the next 48 hours. Minho nodded approvingly. The young engineer had been working almost non-stop for months, barely sleeping as he unraveled the mysteries of alien technology. "What about the power requirements? Will our reactors be able to handle it?" "That's the beautiful part," Kim Do-hyun grinned. "The Valith designed this drive to run on quantum fluctuations in space itself. It barely needs any power input once it gets started. It's like having a car that runs on air." Dr. Yoon So-young approached them, her tablet displaying complex mathematical equations that hurt to look at. She had arrived from Earth 3 months ago as part of the expanded research team, and her insights into quantum physics had proven invaluable. Actually, Kim, I think we can do better than just making it operational, she said. I've been running calculations based on Earth's magnetic field properties, and I believe we can boost the drive's efficiency by at least 200%. 200%? Minho asked, trying to hide his amazement. How is that possible? The Valeth designed this drive for their home system, which has very different quantum characteristics than ours, Dr. Yoon explained. But Earth sits in what we call a quantum sweet spot. Our planet's rotation creates unique field patterns that the drive can tap into for extra power. Kim Do-yeon stared at her calculations, his eyes growing wide. If you're right, this ship could travel faster than the Valeth ever imagined. We wouldn't just be catching up to their technology, we'd be surpassing it. The implications were staggering. Humanity had gone from being considered primitive by alien standards to potentially exceeding alien capabilities in just 6 months. Dr. Park Jae-won joined their group, her arms full of alien artifacts that she had been studying. Speaking of surpassing alien technology, I've made some interesting discoveries in the ship's weapon systems, she said. The Valeth didn't just disable them, they tried to hide them. But human pattern recognition is apparently different from theirs. She led them to a section of the ship that had seemed like empty storage space. But when she activated her scanner and adjusted it to look for specific quantum signatures, hidden panels began to appear in the walls. Plasma cannons, she explained as the concealed weapons revealed themselves. But not just any plasma cannons. These things can punch holes through asteroids. The Valeth tried to make them invisible to their own scanners, probably in case enemies captured the ship. But they didn't account for human scanning techniques. Commander Choi Nari arrived just in time to hear this revelation. She had been promoted to admiral after successfully organizing the security for the project, and her tactical mind immediately grasped the significance. How many weapons are we talking about? At least 40 cannons that I've found so far, Dr. Park replied, plus what looks like torpedo launchers and something I can't even identify yet. This ship wasn't just a transport vessel, it was a warship. Admiral Choi Nari whistled softly. The Valeth left us a fully armed battlecruiser and thought it was worthless. Either they're incredibly arrogant, or their military technology is so advanced that this represents their lowest tier. Given what we've learned about their drive systems, I'm voting for arrogant, Kim Do-yeon said. They seem to think in very rigid patterns. If something is old by their standards, they automatically assume it's useless. As if summoned by their conversation, pilot Han Junho came running into the area, his face flushed with excitement. He had been selected from Earth's best pilots to eventually fly the restored ship, and he had been training on the alien control systems for weeks. Captain, you need to come to the bridge immediately, he said breathlessly. Something incredible is happening with the ship's computer system. They all hurried to the command center, where Han Junho led them to the main control console. The alien symbols on the screens were moving faster than usual, scrolling through what looked like diagnostic information. I was running standard system checks when the computer suddenly started responding differently, Han Junho explained. Watch this. He placed his hand on the control surface and spoke clearly. Computer, display ship status. Immediately, the screens filled with detailed information about every system on the vessel. But more than that, a new voice spoke from hidden speakers throughout the bridge. Ship status. All primary systems operational. Drive efficiency at 312% of original specifications. Weapons systems restored and enhanced. Crew complement. Adequate for optimal performance. Everyone stared at each other in shock. The ship was talking to them. Computer, Minho said carefully. Identify yourself. I am the integrated intelligence system of this vessel. I have been dormant for 1,407 standard cycles, awaiting a crew capable of proper neural interface. Neural interface? Dr. Yoon So-young asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. Valeth technology requires teams of specialists to operate efficiently. However, human neural patterns are uniquely compatible with direct interface protocols. A single human operator can achieve what requires 5 Valeth specialists. The implications hit them like a lightning bolt. Not only had the Valeth left them advanced technology, they had unknowingly given them technology that humans could use, better than the original creators. Computer, Minho continued, why are human neural patterns more compatible? Valeth thinking is highly specialized and compartmentalized. Human thinking is more flexible and integrative. This allows for superior multitasking and adaptive problem-solving when interfaced with ship systems. Kim Do-yun started laughing, a sound that quickly became infectious as the others realized what this meant. They gave us a ship that they can't even use properly, he gasped between chuckles. It's like giving a race car to someone who can only drive in straight lines, then being surprised when someone else wins the race. Dr. Park Ji-won was already pulling up technical specifications on her tablet. If the computer is right about neural compatibility, then humans could operate alien technology more efficiently than aliens themselves. This changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the galaxy. Admiral Choi Nari was thinking strategically, as always. Computer, what are the defensive capabilities of this vessel compared to standard Valeth military ships? With current human modifications and neural interface optimization, this vessel possesses combat capabilities exceeding 97% of current Valeth fleet assets. The bridge fell silent as everyone processed this information. They weren't just rebuilding an old alien ship. They were creating something that could potentially challenge the aliens who had dismissed humanity as primitive. Captain, Han Junho said quietly, I'd like to request permission to attempt the neural interface. If the computer is right about human compatibility, someone needs to test it. Minho looked around at his team. Dr. Yoon So-young was nodding eagerly, her scientific mind fascinated by the possibilities. Kim Do-hyun was already pulling up interface protocols on his scanner. Dr. Park Ji-won was studying alien neural connection hardware that she had found in the ship's medical bay. Admiral Choi Nari looked concerned but determined. What are the risks? Minho asked the ship's computer. Neural interface with humans appears to be completely safe. Human brain chemistry is naturally compatible with our systems. The primary risk is temporary disorientation as consciousness expands to encompass ship operations. Consciousness expands? Dr. Yoon So-young asked. What does that mean exactly? Human operator will experience ship systems as extensions of their own body. Sensors become enhanced senses. Engines become controllable movement. Weapons become precise tools. The effect is reportedly quite pleasant for your species. Minho took a deep breath. They had come so far in just 6 months, transforming an abandoned alien Hulk into something that could potentially reshape humanity's future. But this next step would change everything. Computer, do you have a name? I was designated Vessel Classification Teguk by previous human operators. Previous human operators? Everyone said at once. Error in memory banks. No previous human operators exist. Designation appears to be anticipatory programming. Please disregard. But Minho smiled. Somehow the ship had named itself with a Korean word meaning ultimate reality or the supreme principle underlying the universe. It seemed appropriate. Han Junho, he said formally, you have permission to attempt neural interface with Taeguk. Dr. Yoon and Dr. Park, I want you monitoring every aspect of the process. Kim, make sure all systems are ready for full activation. As his team prepared for this historic moment, Minho contacted Earth Control. Admiral Song Hyuk, this is Captain Lee Minho. Request immediate priority channel. We're about to attempt something that will change the course of human history. 2 years had passed since pilot Han Junho first connected his mind to Taeguk's systems, and the transformation had exceeded everyone's wildest expectations. Captain Lee Minho stood on the bridge watching Earth's defense fleet conduct training exercises, but these weren't the same ships that had existed before the alien discovery. Every vessel now incorporated technology reverse-engineered from Taeguk, making them faster, stronger, and more deadly than anything humans had previously imagined. Han Junho sat in the neural interface chair at the center of the bridge, his eyes closed, but his consciousness expanded throughout Taeguk's systems. He could feel every sensor, every engine, every weapon as if they were parts of his own body. The sensation had been overwhelming at first, but now it felt as natural as breathing. Junho, what's the status on our new weapon systems? Minho asked. Without opening his eyes, Junho smiled. The Reality Ripper is fully operational, Captain. Dr. Yoon's quantum mathematics were perfect. We can now tear holes in space-time itself, creating localized gravitational anomalies or pocket dimensions. The weapon is completely beyond anything the Valeth originally installed. Kim Do-hyun looked up from his engineering station where he was monitoring the ship's enhanced systems. Captain, I still can't believe what we've accomplished. Our drive efficiency is now at 400% of Valeth specifications. Our weapons can punch through any known alien shielding, and our armor can adapt to any attack in real time. Dr. Park Ji-won entered the bridge carrying a tablet full of intelligence reports. Over the past 2 years, she had become Earth's leading expert on alien civilizations, studying every piece of information they could extract from Taeguk's databases. Captain, I've been analyzing the communication intercepts we've been picking up from alien space. There's increased chatter about something they call the Lost Patrol. Lost Patrol? Admiral Choi Nari asked as she joined them. She now commanded Earth's entire space defense force, but she still preferred to spend time aboard Taeguk when possible. 3 Valeth ships that were sent to check on Earth 2 years ago and never reported back, Dr. Park explained. According to the intercepted messages, their last known position was our solar system. Minho felt a chill of anticipation. They had been expecting the Valeth to return eventually, but 2 years of preparation had made Earth far more ready than the aliens could possibly imagine. Computer, Minho addressed Taeguk's AI. Any incoming ships on long-range sensors? Taeguk's synthesized voice filled the bridge. Affirmative, Captain. 3 vessels approaching from Galactic North. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Configuration matches Valeth heavy cruiser specifications. 3 ships, Admiral Choi Nari mused. Either they're very confident, or they have no idea what they're flying into. Dr. Lim Yoonji hurried onto the bridge, her translator equipment beeping rapidly. She had spent the last year learning Valeth languages and communication protocols, preparing for this exact moment. Captain, I'm picking up a transmission from the incoming ships. They're broadcasting on standard Valeth military frequencies. Put it through the translators, Minho ordered. The bridge speakers crackled to life with an alien voice speaking harsh, commanding tones. Dr. Lim's equipment quickly converted the words to English. Primitive Earth creatures, this is Commander Kethmar of the Valeth Empire. You will immediately surrender the stolen vessel and submit to Imperial authority. Your species has committed theft of Valeth property and must face consequences. Minho couldn't help but laugh. Stolen? They left it here as a gift. Computer, open a channel to the Valeth ships. Channel open, Captain. Commander Kethmar, this is Captain Lee Minho of the Earthship Taeguk. Your people abandoned this vessel in our space. We claimed it according to standard salvage laws. If you have a problem with that, you're welcome to try taking it back. The response came quickly, filled with alien anger. Insignificant human, you dare speak to Valeth authority with such insolence? We gave you that broken hulk as charity. Return it immediately or face the consequences of your impudence. Han Junho opened his eyes, his consciousness still connected to Taeguk's systems. Captain, their ships are powering up weapons. They're planning to attack as soon as they enter range. How long until they arrive? 4 hours, 37 minutes. Minho turned to his crew. They had trained for this moment for 2 years, but now that it was here, he felt the weight of representing all humanity in their first real test against alien technology. Admiral Choi, Signal Earth Defense Command. Tell them to maintain distance, but be ready to assist if needed. Dr. Park, I want everything we know about Valeth tactics and capabilities. Kim, make sure all our enhanced systems are at peak efficiency. Captain, Dr. Lim Yoonji interrupted. The Valeth are broadcasting again. This time, Commander Kethmar's voice carried a note of cruel amusement. Human creatures, our scans indicate you have made crude modifications to our old vessel. How pathetic. You are like children playing with tools you cannot understand. When we reclaim our property, we will ensure your species never again presumes to touch Valeth technology. Han Junho's eyes snapped open, his face flushed with anger. Captain, request permission to show them exactly how well we understand their technology. Denied, Minho said firmly. We wait until they're in range and fire first. I won't have them claim we started this fight. The next 4 hours passed with agonizing slowness. Every human ship in the solar system moved to defensive positions, but Minho had ordered them to stay back. This fight would be between Teguk and the 3 Valeth cruisers, and it would determine humanity's future in the galaxy. Contact in 30 seconds, Han Junho reported, his consciousness monitoring the approaching ships through Teguk's enhanced sensors. They're maintaining attack formation, weapons charged, shields at maximum. Dr. Lim, one last attempt at diplomacy, Minho ordered. Commander Kethmar, this is your final warning. Turn your ships around and leave our space peacefully. The alien commander's laughter came through the speakers like breaking glass. Foolish humans, you face 3 of the Empire's finest warships, with 1 antiquated hulk. Your destruction will serve as an example to other primitive species. So much for diplomacy, Admiral Choi Nari muttered. Contact in 10 seconds, Han Junho announced. They're targeting our engines and weapon systems. Classic Valeth disable and capture tactic. Wait for it, Minho said calmly. 5 seconds. 3, 2. They're firing. Energy beams lanced out from the 3 Valeth ships, brilliant streams of plasma and exotic particles that would have instantly destroyed any Earth vessel from 2 years ago. But Teguk was no longer just an Earth vessel. Adaptive armor activated, Han Junho reported as the alien weapons struck their hull. All incoming energy absorbed and redirected to shield systems. No damage sustained. Through the view screen, Minho could see the Valeth ships hesitating, clearly confused by their weapons' complete lack of effect. Han Junho, return fire. Show them what human engineering can accomplish. With pleasure, Captain. Teguk's enhanced plasma cannons opened fire, streams of energy that burned brighter and struck harder than anything the Valeth had ever seen. The first alien ship's shields collapsed instantly, and the second volley punched clean through its hull, causing massive explosions throughout the vessel. Impossible! Commander Kethmar's voice screamed through the communications. Those are our own weapons. How can they be so powerful? Dr. Lim, respond to his question, Minho ordered with a grim smile. Commander Kethmar, those were your weapons. We improved them, significantly. The remaining 2 Valeth ships immediately began evasive maneuvers, but Han Junho's neural interface allowed him to track their movements perfectly. Teguk moved with impossible grace, seeming to anticipate the aliens' actions before they made them. Deploying Reality Ripper, Han Junho announced, targeting the second ship's drive section. Space itself seemed to twist and bend as Teguk's most advanced weapon activated. A hole appeared in reality near the second Valeth ship, and gravitational forces began tearing the vessel apart from the inside. Within seconds, the proud alien warship was nothing but scattered debris. The third ship immediately stopped attacking and began broadcasting surrender signals. Dr. Lim, translate their message, Minho ordered. They're requesting mercy, Captain. They say they surrender unconditionally and request permission to withdraw. Negative, Minho said firmly. Tell them to prepare to be boarded. We have some questions for Commander Kethmar. 20 minutes later, a human boarding party led by Commander Bei Wusung had captured the remaining Valeth ship and brought its crew aboard Teguk. Commander Kethmar turned out to be a tall, pale alien with angry eyes and a military bearing that even defeat couldn't break. This is impossible, he kept repeating as Dr. Lim questioned him. Primitive species cannot defeat Valeth technology. Our ships are superior to anything in this galaxy. Your ships were superior, Dr. Park Ji-won corrected him. But you made a critical error. You assumed that old technology would remain old forever. You never considered that someone might improve upon your designs. During the interrogation, they learned something that changed everything. The Valeth Empire was not the supreme power in the galaxy. They were actually fighting a desperate war against something called the hegemony. 6 months after the defeat of the Valeth Patrol, Earth had transformed from an isolated world into the center of a growing interstellar power. Captain Lee Minho stood on Teguk's observation deck, watching 5 newly constructed human warships conduct formation exercises around Jupiter's moons. Each vessel incorporated the bio-neural interface technology that gave human crews their decisive advantage over alien forces. The ships were beautiful and deadly, their hulls gleaming with adaptive armor that could withstand anything the galaxy had thrown at them so far. Engineer Park Sung-won had outdone himself in designing the new ship class, creating vessels that were smaller than traditional alien warships but far more powerful and efficient. Captain, Admiral Choi Nari announced as she entered the observation area. We're receiving a priority transmission from Earth. The aliens are requesting a diplomatic meeting. Which aliens? Minho asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. The hegemony. According to Ambassador Shin Jae-hyun, they're sending a full diplomatic mission led by someone called High Chancellor Vexathari. They want to meet in neutral space near the asteroid belt. Minho nodded. They had been expecting this ever since news of the Valeth defeat spread throughout the galaxy. The hegemony, that ancient coalition of alien races that had been conquering Valeth territory, had finally taken notice of humanity. Han Junho's voice came through the ship's internal communications system from the neural interface chamber. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting the incoming hegemony fleet. 12 ships, all massive. They're bigger than anything we've encountered before. How much bigger? General Kwon Mi-young asked as she joined them on the observation deck. She had been promoted to oversee Earth's rapidly expanding military after proving her strategic brilliance in organizing the new fleet. Each ship is roughly 4 times the size of a Valeth cruiser, Han Junho replied. But size isn't everything. I'm reading power signatures that suggest these ships are old, possibly ancient. Their technology might be impressive, but it doesn't look like it's been updated in centuries. Dr. Park Ji-won hurried into the area carrying her ever-present tablet, full of alien intelligence data. I've been studying hegemony records from the Valeth databases. They're not just old, they're practically prehistoric. The hegemony was formed over 10,000 years ago by races that achieved spaceflight when Earth was still in its ice age. Ancient doesn't necessarily mean weak, Admiral Choi Nari pointed out. No, but it does mean predictable, General Kwon Mi-young replied. Ancient civilizations tend to become set in their ways. They rely on tradition and established methods rather than innovation. Minho smiled at his officer's confidence. 2 years ago, they had been a primitive species barely capable of reaching their own moon. Now they were analyzing the strategic weaknesses of civilizations that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. Signal the hegemony fleet, he ordered. Tell them we'll meet with their delegation, but the meeting will take place aboard Taeguk. If they want to talk to humanity, they do it on human terms. Ambassador Shin Jae-hyun appeared on the main view screen, from his position aboard one of the escort ships. He was Earth's first official galactic diplomat, chosen for his ability to remain calm under pressure and his skill at reading alien psychology. Captain, are you sure about meeting on our ship? The hegemony might see that as provocative. Good, Minho replied. Let them be provoked. It's time they understood that humanity won't be intimidated by age or size. 3 hours later, Taeguk sat motionless in space as the hegemony diplomatic ship approached. The alien vessel was indeed massive, a kilometer-long monument to ancient engineering that looked like it had been carved from a single piece of dark stone. But Han Junho's analysis through the neural interface revealed something interesting. Captain, their ship is impressive to look at, but it's incredibly inefficient. They're using about 10 times more power than they need for basic operations, and their shields are strong but inflexible. They can't adapt to different types of attacks. What about their diplomatic shuttle? Admiral Choi Nari asked as a smaller alien craft detached from the main ship and headed toward Taeguk. Even worse, it's basically a flying museum piece. Beautiful craftsmanship, but the technology is thousands of years old. When the alien delegation boarded Taeguk, everyone on the human crew was struck by how different they looked from the Valeth. High Chancellor Vexathari was tall and elegant, with golden skin and flowing robes that seemed to shimmer with their own light. The other aliens in the group represented different species, but they all carried themselves with the unmistakable arrogance of beings who had ruled the galaxy since before human civilization existed. I am High Chancellor Vexathari of the Hegemony Council, the lead alien announced in perfect English. We have come to discuss your recent activities with the Valeth Empire. Ambassador Shin Jae-hyun stepped forward with a respectful bow. Welcome aboard Taeguk, High Chancellor. I am Ambassador Shin Jae-hyun, representing Earth and all human colonies. The alien leader looked around the ship's conference room with obvious surprise. The walls displayed holographic star charts and tactical information that was clearly far more advanced than anything the hegemony had expected from a supposedly primitive species. Your vessel is interesting, Vexathari said carefully. We were told that humans had acquired a single obsolete Valeth ship. We did not expect to find such extensive modifications. Humans are good at improving things, Minho said simply. It's one of our better qualities. Another alien in the delegation, this one with blue skin and multiple arms, leaned forward aggressively. You destroyed 3 Valeth warships. How is this possible? Your species achieved spaceflight only recently. We had good teachers, General Quan Myung replied with a slight smile. The Valeth were very generous with their technology, even if they didn't mean to be. High Chancellor Vexathari studied the human officers with calculating eyes. The hegemony has been at war with the Valeth Empire for 3 centuries. They are a proud and technologically advanced species, yet you claim to have defeated them easily. We don't claim anything, Admiral Choi Nari said. We did defeat them. Would you like to see the recordings? The alien delegation watched in stunned silence as Dr. Park Ji-won displayed video of the battle with the Valeth patrol. The complete destruction of 2 alien warships and the capture of the 3rd clearly shocked them. Impossible, whispered the blue-skinned alien. Those weapons signatures, they exceed anything in our databases. How? Vexthari demanded. How did a primitive species achieve such capabilities in mere years? Ambassador Shin Jae-hyun exchanged glances with Captain Minho, who nodded slightly. They had agreed beforehand to be honest about human capabilities, within limits. High Chancellor, humanity may be young compared to your civilizations, but we have certain advantages. We adapt quickly, we innovate constantly, and we don't let tradition limit our thinking. You speak of advantages, Vexathari said coldly, but what we see is a dangerous and unpredictable species that has somehow acquired weapons beyond their understanding. The hegemony cannot allow such instability in our galaxy. The threat was clear, and the temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. Captain Minho stood slowly, his hand resting casually near his sidearm. High Chancellor, I think there's been a misunderstanding. You seem to believe that humanity needs the hegemony's permission to exist. Let me clarify our position. We don't. You would dare threaten the hegemony? The blue-skinned alien snarled. We command fleets that span the galaxy. Our civilizations were ancient when your world was still forming. Han Junho's voice came through the ship's communication system. Captain, the hegemony fleet is powering up weapons and moving into attack formation. Minho looked directly at High Chancellor Vexathari. Your people just made a mistake. Han Junho, show them what human innovation looks like. Through the conference room's large windows, they could all see space itself beginning to twist and bend as Taeguk's reality ripper powered up. But instead of targeting the hegemony ships, Han Junho aimed at a small asteroid about 50 kilometers away. The asteroid simply vanished, not destroyed, not broken apart, but completely removed from existence, leaving only empty space where it had been floating moments before. That asteroid was about the same size as your flagship, Minho said conversationally. Would you like us to demonstrate the weapon's precision by removing just your engine sections? Or perhaps we could show you our gravitational pulse cannons? They're quite effective against large, inflexible targets. The alien delegation sat in shocked silence. Ancient civilizations that had conquered galaxies were now faced with technology they couldn't understand or counter. This is impossible, Vexathari whispered. No species develops such capabilities so quickly. Humans do, Ambassador Shin Jae-hyun said firmly. And we're just getting started. The question now is whether the hegemony wants to be our friend or our enemy. High Chancellor Vexathari looked at his fellow delegates, all of whom seemed to be struggling with the reality of what they had witnessed. What do you want? Equal treatment, General Quan Myung replied. We want humanity to be recognized as a legitimate galactic power with the right to expand and defend our interests. We want trade agreements territorial. 1 year had passed since the hegemony's first diplomatic contact with humanity, and the galaxy had changed in ways that no alien civilization could have predicted. Fleet Admiral Hong Daiho stood on the bridge of Taeguk, now the flagship of Earth's expanding interstellar navy, watching as human colonies throughout nearby star systems reported their status. What had once been empty space around Earth was now bustling with human activity, trade routes, and defensive installations. Captain, Lee Minho remained as Taeguk's commanding officer, but his role had evolved far beyond ship captain. He was now the primary liaison between humanity and the ship's consciousness, a partnership that had produced technological advances even the Valeth could never have imagined. "Admiral," reported Captain Yu Jin Seo from the bridge of Sejong, Taeguk's sister ship. "The fleet is in position. All 13 vessels are operating at full quantum entanglement synchronization." Fleet Admiral Hong Daiho nodded approvingly. The quantum entanglement networking system was humanity's latest breakthrough, allowing their ships to function as a single distributed organism. Dr. Cha So-min had spent months developing the technology, building on alien quantum theories and human innovation to create something entirely new. "Dr. Cha, status report on the entanglement network," Hong Daeho requested. Dr. Cha So-min looked up from her control station, her face glowing with pride at her creation. "All ships are fully synchronized, Admiral. When the network is active, we're not commanding 13 individual vessels. We're operating one massive superweapon with 13 bodies." Through Taeguk's neural interface, Captain Minho could feel the other 12 ships as extensions of his own consciousness. Each vessel had its own human crew and neural interface pilot, but when connected, they all shared the same awareness and purpose. It was like having 13 arms instead of 2, each one capable of independent action while working toward the same goal. "Long-range sensors are detecting the alien coalition," reported Han Junho from his neural interface station. "They're approaching from multiple vectors, just as our intelligence predicted." The display screens filled with tactical information that would have been overwhelming to any non-networked crew. But with the quantum entanglement system active, all 13 ships processed the data simultaneously, creating a three-dimensional battle picture that was more detailed than anything previously possible. "How many ships?" Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho asked. "Approximately 10,000 vessels from 47 different species," Han Junho replied calmly. "The hegemony, the Valeth Empire, and about 30 other civilizations that we've never encountered before. They've essentially assembled the largest military force in recorded galactic history." Captain Yu Jinseo's voice came through the quantum communication link from Sejong. "They're not just trying to defeat us, Admiral. They're trying to make an example that will prevent any other young species from challenging the established order. Then we'll have to make a bigger example," Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho said grimly. "Show them what happens when you threaten humanity." The alien fleet was indeed massive, stretching across space like a metal cloud that blotted out the stars. Ships from dozens of civilizations flew in formation, representing thousands of years of combined military experience and technological development. But size and experience weren't everything, as the aliens were about to discover. "Incoming transmission from the alien fleet," Dr. Lim Yunji announced from her communication station. "It's a joint message from all the major alliance leaders." "Put it through," Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho ordered. The main screen filled with multiple alien faces, each representing a different species and civilization. High Chancellor Vexathari of the Hegemony stood at the center, flanked by Commander Kethmar of the Valeth and several other alien leaders whose names appeared in translation subtitles. "Humans of Earth," Vexathari announced formally, "you stand, accused of disrupting galactic order, acquiring weapons beyond your natural development, and threatening the stability of civilized space. This alliance represents over 90% of the galaxy's major civilizations, united in the demand for your immediate surrender. You will deactivate your weapons, abandon your colonies, and submit to galactic authority," Commander Kethmar added with obvious satisfaction. "Your species will be relocated to a single world under permanent supervision, where you can do no further harm to galactic civilization." Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho looked around at his crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that had driven humanity from a primitive species to galactic superpower in just 4 years. "Dr. Lim, open a response channel. Channel open, Admiral." "To the assembled alien fleets," Hong Daeho said calmly. "This is Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho of the Earth Space Force. Your terms are rejected. If you wish to test human resolve, you're welcome to try. But I warn you, you're about to discover why underestimating humanity is a fatal mistake." The alien response was immediate and overwhelming. 10,000 ships opened fire simultaneously, filling space with enough energy to sterilize planets. Plasma beams, quantum torpedoes, gravitic pulses, and exotic weapons from dozens of different technologies converged on the tiny human fleet. But the 13 human ships moved as one organism, their quantum entanglement network allowing them to coordinate with impossible precision. Where the aliens expected 13 targets, they found something that acted like a single entity with perfect knowledge of every incoming attack. "Reality Rippers activating," Captain Minho announced through the neural link. "Targeting their command vessels." Space itself began to tear and twist as all 13 human ships activated their reality-warping weapons simultaneously. But instead of creating 13 separate distortions, the quantum network allowed them to combine their effects into massive gravitational anomalies that crushed entire alien squadrons. "Quantum torpedo salvos away," reported Captain Yu Jinseo, phasing through their shields and detonating inside their hulls. The human weapons were unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. Where traditional weapons had to overcome shields and armor, human quantum torpedoes simply ignored them, materializing inside enemy ships and devastating them from within. "Gravitational pulse cannons firing," announced the captain of the ship, Hwarang, creating micro-black holes in their engine sections. The alien fleet, for all its size and power, was designed around traditional concepts of space warfare. Individual ships with individual shields and weapons, each fighting independently, with minimal coordination. They had no defense against an enemy that fought as a single organism with weapons that operated outside conventional physics. "Adaptive armor responding to their attacks," reported the captain of the ship Wanhyo, "absorbing their energy and redirecting it to our offensive systems." The human ships didn't just defend against alien weapons, they fed on them. Every energy beam, every plasma bolt, every exotic particle blast was absorbed by their adaptive armor and converted into power for their own weapons systems. Within the first hour of battle, 3,000 alien ships had been destroyed or disabled. The remaining vessels began falling back in confusion, their commanders unable to understand how their overwhelming numerical advantage had become meaningless. "They're trying to withdraw," Han Junho reported through the neural link, "but they're not coordinating their retreat. Individual species are fleeing in different directions." "Don't let them escape," Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho ordered. "This alliance thought they could intimidate humanity with superior numbers. They need to understand the consequences of that mistake." The 13 human ships pursued the fleeing aliens with relentless efficiency. Their quantum drives allowed them to move faster than any alien vessel, while their networked consciousness meant they could coordinate pursuit patterns that trapped entire alien fleets in gravitational anomalies. "Admiral," Captain Minho said, through the neural link, "I'm detecting surrender signals from multiple alien command ships. They're requesting immediate ceasefire." "Too late for that," Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho replied. "They wanted to make an example of humanity. Now, humanity will make an example of them." The battle continued for 6 more hours, but it was never really a contest. By the time the last alien ship either surrendered or fled beyond sensor range, over 8,000 vessels had been destroyed or captured. The largest military alliance in galactic history had been crushed by 13 human ships working as one. Dr. Park Ji-won looked up from her analysis station, her face showing a mixture of awe and concern. "Admiral, we've just defeated the combined military might of most of the galaxy's major civilizations. The political implications are staggering." "What kind of implications?" Fleet Admiral Hong Daeho asked. "We're no longer just another species in the galaxy," she replied. "We're the dominant military power. Every alien civilization will have to choose between allying with us or living in fear of us." Captain Minho disconnected from the neural interface and stood slowly, his consciousness returning to normal human awareness after hours of expanded perception. "The galaxy is going to be a very different place now." "Different how?" Dr. Cha Somin asked. "For thousands of years, galactic civilization has been based on the idea that older species are automatically superior to younger ones," Captain Minho explained. "We just proved that completely wrong.